We got a new draft order, which means happy mock draft Monday. We're on the heels of bowl season, the best time of the year. But we're coming out of the conference championship games, and a lot of interesting things happened, which can play a role in who declares, who returns to school. And we're going to talk all about that today. So let's go ahead, get into it. And when I say we got a new draft order, we got the New York Giants picking first overall. We're doing trades in this mock. The Giants, you look at the best prospects, or at least the top prospects in this class, none of them really align with a major need for the Giants. So you can use this as an opportunity to grab more draft capital and maybe move this pick to a quarterback needy team. Listen, guys, Fernando Mendoza is the bet and odds favorite to go first overall by a country mile right now. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying Vegas thinks currently that's the most likely scenario. So a team looking to jump the Raiders, shoot, you could even trade this pick to the Raiders and move down one spot, but you have more to gain by moving down a bit more, whether that be the Browns. Those Shadurs looked good. The Saints, Tyler Shuck out here looking like Michael Vick. Maybe the Jets. I've been drafting quarterback a ton for the Jets. We're going to play with something else today when it comes to the Jets. Instead, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams, who have the 9th overall pick, thanks to the Atlanta Falcons. And we're going to send 3 first-round picks. Les Snead's been known to throw picks here and there to acquire players that he wants. And that's what we're going to do. 3 first-round picks. Keep in mind, 31st pick currently. That's your pick. It's a late first-rounder. You're going to send your 2027, which ideally, it's also going to be a late first rounder because we're looking for the heir apparent to Matthew Stafford, who's currently 37. Let's go back to the old ways of doing things, draft a quarterback and not have him just sit 1 year, but maybe even 2 years under that Matthew Stafford tutelage. That's the plan here. I think the Rams are in a great position to do that with a team that is a championship caliber roster. So we're going to send that trade through. We're going to take Fernando Mendoza. I already mentioned he's the bet and odds favorite. I would have Dante Moore ahead of him. It's close, but Mendoza's been a baller this year when it comes to like prototypical quarterback stuff like size, weight, arm talent. He checks those boxes. So there we go. Fernando Mendoza, quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. We'll see him play football in 2028. And then, listen, the Raiders are in a rebuild. We're going to get the quarterback of the future. Wait, does he come out? I don't know. You don't know. Him and his family, they're still probably discussing it. I get it. He's going to get thrown a lot of money at him to return to Oregon, as he should. But it's going to be tempting knowing, hey, I'm probably a top 5 pick in this class. There's going to be a lot of temptation there. We'll see what ultimately wins out. But until he says, I'm returned to school, Dante Moore is going to be in this draft class. So I'm taking him for the Raiders. And just like that, quarterback goes 1 and 2. And now we can talk about the other positions in this class because the Tennessee Titans are picking here. When it comes to the non-best or the best non-quarterback prospect in this class, you're going to get a lot of different answers. Ruben Bain, Caleb Downs. Some people will say Jeremiah Love. But most people say Arvell Reese. That's at least the consensus. And that's because people are going to be viewing him as a pass rusher. If he's just a linebacker, you're not taking him in the top 5, or at least you shouldn't. It's what he does as a pass rusher. He's really good athlete, very explosive. He's got good play strength at 240-ish. So I'm just going to go with the consensus here. Say Arvell Reese is the top non-quarterback prospect in the eyes of most NFL teams. We'll take him here for the Tennessee Titans. And now we got the Cleveland Browns. And typically I'm going offense. We're not going quarterback, but you look at wide receiver, you look at offensive line, and offensive line, not that sexy here at pick 4. And honestly, wide receiver might not be either. I would, but maybe if you're the Browns, you're like, you know what? Let's just take the top non-quarterback prospect. We have enough picks. Let's kind of flesh this team out. And if we're going to do that, we want to do it with talent, with the best players on the board. So I'm just thinking outside the box here. I'm exploring different possibilities. Myles Garrett really truly doesn't have that running mate there. I mean, Isaiah McGuire kind of feels like a solid rotation player, like a third guy in the rotation. I'm gonna go with Ruben Bain, and then we're gonna go. If I'm the Browns, I'm going heavy offense from here on out, but I'm just taking the best player on my board. We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics, and it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged. New Orleans Saints, they would have loved Reese. They would have loved Bain. Neither are available, but I like this wide receiver class. Is there that blue chip talent in here? No, not really. But there's a couple of guys I'm willing to take a shot on. I think probably the most likely receiver that teams will take a shot on, just because there's less question marks when it comes to him, is Carnell Tate. You know he's going to come in. He's just going to be hella good. He kind of opened up the vertical aspect to his game this season. You get to pair him up with another former Ohio State wide receiver in Chris Olave. So, hey, we're getting Tyler Shuck some help. We're grabbing Carnell Tate. Okay, we're on to the Washington Commanders. And I personally, I would try to be making Jaden Daniels' life peachy while he's under this rookie deal. And I mean, this is a guy that just re-aggravated the elbow this past weekend. You need to add parts to this offense. And I think you could start here. I think Jordan Tyson has the chance to be a top 10, top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. I think he's got the biggest upside among some of these wide receivers in this class. So I'm going to take him to pair him up with Scary Terry. New York Jets. Let's just go ahead and get into what I'm going to do here for them. We're not taking quarterback. We're not drafting quarterback. But I think if you're Aaron Glenn, you would be a fool to go into year 2 with no absolute answer, or at least hope to the future, even if it's like a short-term hope. Because very well, you could be like, well, we have all these picks in 2027. Seemingly, that's a better quarterback class. I'll just get my guy there. Or the Jets could look at it and be like, listen, you haven't been really successful right now as a coach. We're just going to get in a new head coach and have him scout out his guy for this class. You don't want that to happen. Especially with all the draft capital you have in 2027, you could move in that draft freely. So let's find a potential short-term answer that could end up being long-term. And that's where Kyler Murray comes into play here. That's right, we're doing a Kyler freaking Murray trade. So I was looking at it. Listen, Kyler Murray's, what people think Kyler Murray costs is all over the place. It is. If you're the Jets, you make this move in the offseason. You could cut ties with it after a year if it doesn't work out and go ahead, draft your quarterback. So we're going to have a pick swap. We're actually going to give the Jets pick 8, or give the Cardinals. Well, no, yeah, the Jets are going to take pick 8. The Cardinals are going to take pick 7. We're going to snag Kyler Murray. And then I think you're probably going to have, again, the draft value or the trade value has been everywhere. I've seen, maybe a couple of seconds, maybe a second that can become a first. Maybe a third, maybe a second and a conditional day 3 pick. Like, whatever that value is, I think is yet to be known to us. So I'm just going to go with, because the Jets, I know it doesn't have it here, but the Jets will have one of Dallas's picks, and it's whatever pick is the highest in the draft. So that's nice. I'm not going to give away one of these first rounders. I think I would give a conditional second that has the chance to be a first, not based on playing time, but based on how the team does, or maybe him passing some landmarks when it comes to his production. I think more so it'd be like, okay, if we end up being a playoff team, okay, that second becomes a first. I think that might be the best way to do it. So it's a conditional second. If things end up not going great, then cool. It stays a second. You could ditch Murray. You go ahead and make that move. But I think if you're Aaron Glenn, you need to do something with the answer at quarter to have some sort of answer at quarterback. Matter of fact, you could even free up some of your cap and throw Justin Fields over to the Cardinals in this trade. They're gonna stick with Brissett, but I mean, if you're the Cardinals, I mean, I feel like you gotta do something at quarterback. And spoiler alert, Ty Simpson, there's good chance he comes back to school. Things just haven't over the last month or so. It's not been great from Ty Simpson, and not entirely all of it's on him, but he's also not been a solution for that offense. And to be fair, I think for Alabama, Simpson kind of is the offense. So we're going to send that trade through. We have a lot of moving parts. Cardinals are now on the clock because, again, it's a one-pick swap. I did that because I was like, I remember when the Jets did that with Aaron Rodgers. So we got the Cardinals now on the board. Cardinals, do we take a quarterback? No, we're not taking a quarterback here. Do you take the shot on Lenore Sellers? I think he ends up transferring. Maybe he even comes back to school. But I think one way or another, he's returned to college. I'm not taking Ty Simpson here. I'd like a guy with a little bit more upside that maybe ended the year a little bit hotter. Instead, I think you just take the best player, right? Or maybe like Caleb Downs was compelling, but I think the pass rush needs some help defensively. You could also make the case for Francis Mauigoa. You can make the case for Spencer Fano. With those guys and their questions at arm length, are they guards? Are they tackles? Which I think if you're Cardinals, you don't care. You look at the right side of your line, you're like, yeah, we need some help here. I think I want to swing for potentially a higher premium position. I'm actually going to go with David Bailey to pair him up with Josh Sweat. Because, again, they're not getting production from anyone opposite of Sweat right now. They're just not. So, again, we're experimenting. We're taking a look at possibilities. New York Jets. They got Kyler Murray. I think this is where we take Caleb Downs. Just, hey, Aaron Glenn, former DB. He's going to go ahead and get a DB in this class, which, hey, man, Caleb Downs, a hell of a prospect. Best safety prospect probably since Kyle Hamilton, who went 14th overall in his draft. So there it goes. Caleb Downs. But before we get to pick 9, I got to talk about our friends over at Underdog of Fantasy. Download the app. Sign up with promo code BROSHMO. They match that first deposit up to $1,000 dues. They currently have promos going on each and every day for you to take advantage of. But let that first promo you take advantage of be when you sign up with promo code BROSHMO. Whether you like weekly best ball or higher or lower on player stats, you can mix and match picks. It doesn't just have to be football. You can be like, I like this football. I like this basketball. I like this Marco Polo. I don't know. But as always, play responsibly. Play within your means. Let's get back to the video. We're back on the clock with the New York Giants, and I think I'm going wide receiver here. I think Mekhi Lemon is in that Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson tier. I love Lemon. I think he's got a little Steve Smith to his game, despite being 5'11", 195. I think he's just got a little bit of that stank. I love what he does after the catch. You're about to lose Wan'Dale Robinson, who essentially is that. So we're going to grab Mekhi Lemon to help Jackson Dart's life be easier. And then we'll circle back and see what we can do with the Giants now, their new second first-round pick. Cincinnati Bengals. Board didn't really fall your way. Kind of was hoping that David Bailey would be here. He is not. Caleb Downs is not here. So we got to go elsewhere. I think Peter Woods makes the most sense. He will be a RAS guy, that relative athletic score. Bengals love those guys. You look, honestly, at the defensive line, and there's nothing I like, nothing I love, nothing I appreciate about it. They need pass rush. You can make a case maybe for offensive line, sure, but that defense is a horrible mess. Peter Woods, hell of a good player at 6'3", 315, very good athlete. Minnesota Vikings. Listen, I'm just going to go ahead and take the week off from the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to set it and forget it. We've been playing around with different spots Jeremiah Love could end up. I'm just going to go back-to-back weeks taking Jeremiah Love, and we'll explore something else next week for the Vikings. All right, I got my Miami Dolphins. Fins up, baby. Fins up. They could go a plethora of different spots. I think with no offensive lineman currently off the board, we're just going to send it there. Preferably, my guy is Francis Mauigoa. I'm a big fan of his game. He could come in and compete at right tackle with Austin Jackson, even if he ends up sliding into guard. Cool. James Daniels has been hurt, and Jonas Avenea has not been great. So just adding competition to the offensive line, I think, goes a big way. Don't tell me, oh, Ty Simpson. Listen, we're stuck with Tua for one more year. I'm willing to be like, just let it ride out. If we suck, we suck. And then we could get our quarterback in 2027 when we are free of that financial strain of Tua's contract. Baltimore Ravens. I thought about moving this pick. I couldn't really find the right team to move up, nor was there a player that I think warranted a team to actually move up and spend extra draft capital to actually go out and get. So we're just going to stick it and pick it. Keldrick Folk would make sense here. Instead, I want to go with someone who's been a hot name this year, but he's coming off a really good performance in a losing effort in the Big Ten championship game. And that player is Caden McDonald out of Ohio State. He's got some work to do as a pass rusher, but I think he has more upside than Talik Williams, who was a first rounder. And you look at the Ravens, Matabuke coming off a big injury. You got Travis Jones as a free agent. I think a lot of this makes sense. Which now we have the Dallas Cowboys, and if Keldrick Falk's on the board, I think you just set it and forget it. He kind of lines up with what they like, opposite of their thinner, more bendy pass rusher in Donovan Ezaraku, getting someone who can set the edge, stop the run, play with his hand in the dirt. Yeah, he needs some work. He needs some polish as a pass rusher, but the tools are immense with Keldrick Falk, so we're just going to take him here with Dallas's first round pick. Pick 15, Kansas City Chiefs. Did you see that attempt of a catch by Travis Kelce? Freaking love it. Love it. Yeah, I think he might be done. I mean, I'm not saying, hey, he has to retire because, hey, Kelce, there's still a lot of good play in there, but he's up there in years. It feels like Father Time has descended upon him. Kenyon Sadiq's really he is the top tight end. The only one that feels like warrants a first round pick. We're going to grab him, help Mahomes out, get Mahomes more weapons. I also thought about Spencer Fano here. If I was more sold on Fano being a for sure tackle in the NFL, and to be fair, Fano isn't the type of tackles normally the Chiefs go after. So then again, I mean, he's got a tall frame, so he could certainly add the weight. So I guess that's not really a problem. But yeah, no, Kenny Sadiq, I think, just makes too much sense. Carolina Panthers, they need pass rush. I thought about going linebacker here too. I'm not going to lie to you. But what's better than linebacker? Pass rush. They need pass rush. I love Cassius Howe. He could play some off ball. He's that athletic. So he does two things at once, or at least accomplishes two things at once. For the Panthers, it gives you a versatile chess piece there on the defense. Howe could end up in the second half of the first round. There's a chance he falls out of the first round just because people hate the length that much and they think it's going to be a problem. It will be at times in the league, but he is just such a rare athlete and it's just been hella productive the last couple of years. Before we get into pick 17, though, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think of this mock draft? Why do you hate it? Why do you hate me? But shoot, guys, we do the draft all year round. If you want to know as many prospects as possible, who fits your team, this is the right place to be. I'm covering the draft 24/7, 365 days out of the year. I don't know if that's how many days there is. I don't know. I can't recall. Something like that. Maybe it's, I don't know. I know it's like 52, 53 weeks, something like that. Regardless, if you like the draft, you're in the right place. Detroit Lions, they got pick 17. And again, we're going outside of the box here because I was looking at who's available, and I think it's just the right time. Like, this is the right spot to take a corner. If the top corner has yet to be taken, I think you should jump on that. Terrion Arnold, you could kick inside to the slot. You got Reed out there. Mansour Delane, I think you probably take him over Jermon McCoy, who we haven't seen this year because of the ACL injury he suffered in January. Will he be in this draft? That's also a question mark. We got to wait and see. But Mansour Delane, I think, can play a variety of different spots in the defensive backfield. So you don't even necessarily have to kick Arnold into the slot. You could have Delane there and be A-okay with it. They got Meek Robertson is a free agent. So, yeah, I think taking the top corner in the class makes sense. New York Jets, pick 18. We took Caleb Downs. A lot of things came to mind. I thought maybe we could go with a wide receiver here, and that would start that next tier of wide receivers if we take one here. Thought about defensive line, corner. We just saw one come off the board, but do you want to roll the dice with the corner coming off ACL injury? And then I'm like, okay, Spencer Fano's still on the board. You got to imagine maybe a team jumps up to go get him because it won't be that expensive. So ultimately, we ended up doing a trade. That's right, the Jets making 2 trades in here. To be fair, one trade was really just for Kyler Murray, but it did involve a pick swap. So I'm actually going to have the Houston Texans move up here because we know they would like offensive line. So we're going to swap picks 18 and 21. It's going to cost pick 106. That's what the trade value chart tells me it will be. But when it comes to draft trades, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. These trade value charts, they're going to be different from team to team. So we truly don't know what a team is really willing to give up to move up. So yeah, I'm just going to go with a 4th here to move up 3 spots. Send the trade through. I'm taking Spencer Fano. Is he a guard? Is he a tackle? I don't care because the Texans probably would like both. Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh my gosh, this is the Ty Simpson landing spot. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm not saying I'm full soured on Ty Simpson, but I think him returning has become very apparent. And there might be a concern or a worry he gets Graham Nussmeired where just, oh, guess what? The run game actually never becomes a thing for Bama. And yeah, now you're stuck on the struggle bus having to shoulder the production of your offense, much like Garrett Nussmeier is, or at least was before he was benched. So yeah, we're not going to go with Ty Simpson here. Instead, I think I've played with the idea of this pick a few times and actually never did it. I'm actually going to go with Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State for the Steelers. The linebacker core could be better. They've had a lot of missed tackles when runs have gone into the second level. So yeah, we're going to go with Styles here, who could, if I'm being honest, I thought about Styles at pick 16, as high as pick 16 for the Panthers. You could even argue him at pick 14 for the Cowboys. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I would have loved if Styles was here, but he is not. They need pass rush. Yeah, it's really right now they're not getting a lot of production from anybody, but you got Yaya Diaby, you got Vita Vea. You're going to get a healthy, golly, I'm blanking on his name. Oh my gosh. Cansey. There we go. You're going to get a healthy Cansey back next season. But I'm going to get a 3-down player, TJ Parker. He's more of a Robin type. By that, I don't think he can be a Batman, or maybe he can, and it's just a low-end Batman, right? Like Tim Drake Batman or something. But yeah, he's gonna be a 3-down player that could stop the run. He's got enough as a pass rusher. Like, he checks a lot of boxes. It's just he does a lot of things well, just not elite. And you pair him up with Yaya Diaby. Back here with the Jets, we moved down, and that's because I kind of knew I wanted to take a defensive interior player. You traded away Quinnen Williams. I'm not saying let's get a Quinnen Williams replacement, but we have already seen 2 defensive interior players come off the board. And, I mean, shoot, we grabbed Caleb Downs, who should be a home run pick. I think you could risk it for the biscuit. Take Amari Washington here, who at 6'3", 330 pounds is stupid explosive, stupid strong, and hope it works out. He's had a pretty solid year thus far. Pick 22, Los Angeles Chargers. Yeah, we're just going to run this picket, and it's the guard from Penn State, the Vega. Yawane out of Penn State. That's kind of redundant because I just said that, but you know what I'm saying. He's going to come in and he's going to play left guard for this squad. Zion Johnson's a free agent. Even if Johnson comes back, I think you kick him into center. But yeah, we're going to get more help on that offensive line. Philadelphia Eagles. Jermod McCoy, in my opinion, was a top 10 pick entering the year. And since we haven't gotten a chance to see him, it's been rough. But to me, I think as long as he comes back and everything checks out athletically, he's still worth a first rounder. He's worth a top 20 pick. So Eagles, they're going to finally seal up that corner 2 spot, that other outside corner spot. You got DeJean playing in the slot. You got Quinion Mitchell, but we're going to shore up the other corner spot. Chicago Bears, this was tough. I didn't love a lot of the options. I kind of knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know if exactly I wanted to do it here. And then I was like, you know what? Is there a option to trade back? Because I think there is. If you're a team that needs a tackle, maybe Caden Proctor, Caleb Lomu, Trevor Gooseby. I'm a big Gooseby guy. Maybe there's a team that's like, okay, well, let's move up and get one of these guys that actually check the box when it comes to arm length. So, yeah, we're going to do that since it's relatively cheap. This is actually going to be a pick swap. We're going to have the Cleveland Browns move here. They're going to move up for an offensive player because that's just smart, especially when it comes to the offensive line, because you look at the offensive line, you got a lot of guys hitting free agency. Even if you bring back a Wyatt Teller or a Joel Bitonio, Ethan Posick, he just tore his Achilles this past weekend. So he's not going to probably not be good to go once the season starts. Jack Conklin, whatever. DeJuan Jones, whatever. So yeah, we're going to go move up and get a tackle that we like. The Browns are going to send pick 27 and pick 104. The Bears, they're going to send pick 24 and they are going to send pick 131. So essentially they're going to move up 27 spots in the 4th round. So we're going to send that trade through. I'm going to go with the guy that I like. Trevor Gooseby has been phenomenal all year. Sure, they got him ranked here at 91, but everyone's consensus big board's going to look different. I think Gooseby is a first-round talent. Buffalo Bills. Listen, it's basically Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir, and then they got a bunch of guys that are like, sure, they need a wide receiver 1. I think you could take a shot on Denzel Boston here, especially with how in the doghouse Keon Coleman has been this year, and be like, okay, you know what? We're going to go with a guy with a, honestly, that's a better prospect than Keon Coleman in Denzel Boston. Pick 26. And I've made this pick quite a bit for the San Francisco 49ers. I'm just going to take Caden Proctor. I don't care if he ends up being a guard. If he ends up being a tackle, great. He's going to be under the tutelage of Trent Williams. But if we have to end up kicking him to guard, I think that's still is solid for the Niners. So we're going to take Proctor there. Back on the board with the Chicago Bears. And I kind of settled on I was going to go with the defensive tackle here. Because I think that the edges on the board don't really check Dennis Allen's. There we go. I don't think they check his box in terms of what he likes in his edge players. These guys that are thick and can play with their hand in the dirt. Christian Miller to me is a first round pick. He's been really good the last month or so of the season, and now that Georgia and the pressure, the havoc that they can cause from a pass rushing standpoint has leveled up over this past month. I think that's really helped Miller's case to be a first rounder. So I'm going to go with Christian Miller here. Dallas Cowboys. I took Keldrick Falk. I think this is now where you get your corner. And I personally like Keith Abney. He's my guy out of Arizona State. However, I think the Cowboys, they typically like their bigger corners. You could kick Deron Bland into the slot and be a-okay. I'm going to go with Brandon Cease. He kind of had a roughish game against A&M before getting hurt, but he's been spectacular throughout the whole year outside of that game. He's long, he's fast, he just checks that box. Very similar to Shavon Revel, who they drafted in the 3rd round last year, who fell to the 3rd round because he was coming off of an ACL injury. Seattle Seahawks, I can't help it. I think going corner is just the smartest thing to do. You got Josh Jobe, Reek Wolin, free agents. So why not go corner? I think the value's there. I love Keith Abney. He's my dude in this class. I think he'd be a great fit for Mike McDonald. So we're going to go with Abney. New England Patriots. I think this is firmly going to be a very defensive heavy draft for Mike Vrabel. He went this past draft. He was like, okay, let's go get Drake May some help. That's fine. But hey, I'm a defensive guy. It's time for you to let me cook on guys that I like. They got Clavon Chason as a free agent. So I'm going to go with Joshua Josephs. I think Josephs could go much higher than this. He's been pretty darn good. He's got insane wingspan. He's pretty explosive. So got him right here. New York Giants. I kind of wanted a corner. And we could take Colton Hood here and be okay. We could. But I think the better value to be had is still to go grab help for Jackson Dart. Guys, the NFL draft isn't free agency 2.0. It's not the only means to help out or to help to acquire needs. You have free agency. You have other parts of the draft. Matter of fact, I mean, what? The Giants, they will have pick 33. So the first pick of the 2nd round. So if we want, we could address corner there. Instead, I think Caleb Lomu probably goes in the 1st round if he comes out. I think if he sticks around another year, comes out in the 2027 class, he's probably a top 10, top 15 pick. Because yes, he's that good. He's a bit more polished than I would say Fano in some regards. He's just not as freaky as an athlete, but he's got the arm length. That's not a big worry. So I'm going to grab Lomu to be a tackle of the future for the Giants. And now we're going to wrap this sucker up with the Denver Broncos. Avion Terrell, definitely a guy to consider. I think he just declared for the draft today. I don't blame him. He's probably getting 1st round looks. Ends up not being in my 1st round mock in today's mock, but I think it's just because he's very scheme. I don't want to call him scheme specific, but And a lot of teams, I think, are going to look at him like, yeah, no, he's a slot player. I don't know if I want to take that in the first. Where else? Colton Hood, sure. We could take son of God. Oh, they need it. Quincy Rhodes is returned to school as well. Let's see. I think what makes the most sense is the linebacker core. I think both your starters are free agents. CJ Allen's here, so we could go send it. I guess Casey Concepcion's the other name I would bring up. Maybe even depending on their taste. Chris Bell. I think those are two guys to consider. But I think they probably like what they have with their pass catchers. I'm going to go with CJ Allen. We need a starter at linebacker. Even if they bring back one of those guys, you're going to need someone to start next to him. But there it is. There's the mock, boys and girls. We had trades. We had fun. We thought about fits. It was a good old time. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. That's it for the video. Do that YouTube thing. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.